Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So today I'm gonna do another review request, and this one is from Tatiana. I hope I pronounced that right, I'm sure I did. This is He Never Died, starring Henry Rollins. So this one's actually on Netflix, so hopefully you guys will be able to access this pretty easily. It's on Australian Netflix, so it's likely gonna be in your countries too because we have fuck all. I think you guys really like this. It's a really interesting concept. It has great production value and he's a pretty kick-ass character, so it's a good combination. In this one, Henry Rollins plays an indestructible, mysterious man who prefers to stay antisocial. But when he finds out that he has a daughter, his enemies use her as leverage to get to him. The thing about this movie is I always talk about complex characters and complex storylines, right? This one, the character seems super shallow. He's super chill. He's actually really badass. I really liked him. Even though he had a like, where are my fucks attitude, I really liked that about him. And what I liked particularly about these characters and the development was that he seemed like he was super shallow, but as the story progresses, his character gets deeper and deeper and deeper. All of a sudden it's a pit and you're like, oh, why did I not see this coming? It's actually sold on Netflix as he's a cannibal, but I'll let that evolve for you because it's interesting where it takes you. In terms of film techniques, it had crazy sound design, really loud sound effects, amazing soundtrack. I would totally buy the soundtrack. It was really thought out really well. But to play devil's advocate for that, I don't really like hearing too much of a soundtrack because then you're thinking about the music and you're saying, oh, this is a good soundtrack, but it doesn't blend evenly with the movie, if that makes sense. It takes you out of like the movie experience. It obviously looked amazing and it was also very violent, but I really liked the special effects, makeup, and special effects, I guess, together for the violence, I guess, for the bloodshed, you know what I mean? The thing with this movie is it kind of has two different plots coming together. The daughter and the guy who gives no fucks, and then they're kind of like blending. So it was interesting to see two simple storylines make like a really complex, confusing one. Lots of different characters, lots going on. And like even a love story is put in there, which was kind of foreign to me. It didn't really need to be in there, but whatever. Which I actually really liked. One part of the love story is that this lady actually freaks out about him. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler, but I just really like when things react like that, like you would in real life, and it's not, you know, fairy tale movie. I don't know what happens in Twilight, but I'm assuming, I probably shouldn't assume, I haven't seen it. When she finds out that he's a vampire, she gets a little bit, but then she like falls in love with him and has like a baby, and there's a couple more movies. Where this one, she like completely freaks out, which I really like because it's more realistic, and especially in a movie like this that's very heavy on special effects and even fantasy, it's really good to bring some realism into it. He also kind of reminded me of like a Dexter character because he did badass stuff, but he played by his own code or rules. If any of you guys have seen Dexter, I'm sure you know what I mean. Dexter, I'm sure you guys know what Dexter is if you haven't seen it, but Dexter pretty much kills people, but he abides by certain rules, and I really liked that in this movie. It was like a cool little quirk to it. He had these little experiments that he would do on people to figure out if they were good or bad, and whether it was justified to kill them, which I really liked. So all of this is great up until it kind of takes a turn somewhere, and I kind of stopped caring. I have to admit, it kind of lost my interest. Maybe it was more fantasy coming into play. I'm not really a huge fantasy or sci-fi fan. There is exceptions always to those rules. But for this one, I kind of like where it was starting, but I wasn't really interested into where it went at the end. I did really appreciate his character though, and I mean, I'm really not into that whole like hulking bad guy, like beat him up, like I'm not superhero friendly or any of that, but I really, except for Batman, I love Batman. I thought he was a really cool, deep character, and I like that someone so wise says so little. It really says a lot about, I mean, here's me ranting on the internet, but it really says a lot about like our generation and how sometimes we just need to shut the fuck up. Me included in that. So obviously there was a lot of pros with the character for me, but some flaws in having a character like that is obviously there's nothing at stake. It just leaves him nothing to lose, and because he doesn't care about much, that also leaves him nothing to lose. So you're kind of just watching him go through the motions. So once again, I wasn't a humongous fan of this film, but I can see a lot of you guys really liking it, and for really good reasons. But subject matter wise, it just isn't my favorite, but I did think the ending was really interesting. I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10 for personal score. For scare score, I'm gonna give it a 3 just for violence. It's not scary at all. And for originality, I'm gonna give it a 6 because It seemed like it was gonna be original, but I've seen it done kind of the same way before. You'll know what I mean when you see it, and if you have seen it, let me know down in the comments below what you thought. I hope you guys are having a great day. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys later. Stay spooky. Bye.